Like everyone else, we were watching the news, watching the weather, looking at the water headed for High River on the 20th and wondering just how bad it was going to get. My first real indication that it was orders of magnitude worse than people expected actually happened when I got a phone call from the town CAO on the morning of the 21st, and it was, "How soon can you get to town administration?" I said, "I'll be there in 30 minutes. By 8:30, we convened everyone, discussed whether or not we were going to declare a state of local emergency. By 9 o'clock, the decisions had all been made, and by 10:30, the evacuation center was open, turning and burning. Now, that meant I was activated as Director of Emergency Management. That's a bureaucratic job where you coordinate between the province, between the local administration, and you make things go. I very, very quickly discovered that my real job was not following a provincial plan or even my plan that I wrote for the town, but it was to coordinate the dozens and then the hundreds of people who said, "How can I help?" and get the hell out of their way. When it came to Centre Street, businesses up and down Centre Street, from Sandra Lonkin at the jewelry store, Verlyn Beale in her shop, from the insurance companies who opened to start processing claims, to Randy Wolf at the hardware store giving stuff away, to the Sugar Shack giving away coffee. I'd walk in, I'd talk to people, I'd make a suggestion or two sometimes, if needed, and then back off and get out of the way and go back later to make sure everything was working. The hardest part of the job was really explaining to the evacuees from High River that this wasn't a flood like anything else they'd experienced. You don't have a town you're going back to anytime soon. It's going to be at least a week before people get their poop grouped and you start to get information. And they didn't want to believe me. They said, "We've been through floods before." And I said, no. Hulk smash. An Olympic swimming pool worth of water going through your streets. And when that meeting broke up, there were a lot of people who were really upset. And I didn't want to deliver it. I'm from Vulcan. What do I know about High River? But as a geographer and a guy who'd been tracking all the information I could get my hands on from the province, we had a lot of those. We had people here at the evacuation center who were looking at pictures shot from private aircraft with a couple of companies in town who saw their houses underwater. Tough on our volunteers. Yeah, that's how I remember the floods.